The system are built to actually disconnect you from the nature.
You are so disconnected that you can't even feel what's right, what's wrong.
But they're afraid to rise for themselves.
Why would I need to struggle? Don't we build this beautiful country not to struggle again?
Is this really you, or is this a story or concept that actually being put?
What's your relationship with plant medicine?
Wow, satisfying.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode. My guest today is Ghazian.
Thank you. Blessed to be here.
I want to start with a fire. Fire plays a very
Okay.
important role in your life. For anybody who don't know Ghazian, he's always with this big fire stick playing with fire. He called it "I play fire," which for me is like, wow, such a deep connection to this beautiful thing. How did that happen?
Well, if I go directly to the core element, fire itself, it just reminds me about playfulness, joy, compassion, but also like patience and love, actually. The element fire itself has like double-edged, sword, I would say, because some of people, they are afraid, about fire or playing with the fire, even with their own fire. So I think the most important thing to see how people actually have fear about fire is because they are afraid to either burn themselves, with the fire, or burn other people,
Yeah.
whatever they do with their own fire, right? So my connection with fire is simply like I am always fiery kid. Actually, I was always fiery kid. I was from Sunda, like West Java. But I ended up in Bali somehow.
Yeah. How big is Sunda?
It's huge. Sunda is the
Okay.
second biggest tribe in Indonesia.
Oh,
So we
really?
have 720 tribes, and Sundanese is second biggest. But in fact, the history is actually Bali used to be attached to Java. If you see in the map, like Bali and Java is like kind of can be attached, because it used to be together. And back then, when the kingdom dynasty was like used to be, Sunda was a kingdom that has brothers and sister, and Bali used to be called Sunda Kecil, like small Sunda. So like 2019, I was in Germany, and then I came back to Bali only to visit my sister because my sister used to live here already before me. Um, like playing with fire was always, my stuff, because before in Germany I used to be a chef. I was to play with the fire also. But here actually there is a Bali Flow fire community, and then I was like, oh, it's standing on the side, it's like, oh, it's actually interesting. And then I grabbed one of the stuff from my friend Logan. So thanks to him, actually, he was the one that kind of inspired me. I was playing with the stick, with the stuff that you've seen. There's a lot of props, basically. There's like bowls, like they call it poi. There's like dragon stuff. There is so many things. But then the fire is, or the prop is actually choosing you somehow. That's how it works there. And I was playing, but I had a basic or ground from my ancestors also to do martial art, and it calls silat. It's a traditional martial art. So all my ancestors were like guardians, protector, warriors, shaman, healers, all that thing that is serving actually other people, like higher than themselves. It's dark, right? So it's like, oh no, you play, you gonna practice it and then do some flow. It teach me some flow, and then I light the fire. And I was like, "Woof." I was like, wow. And I was basically playing the fire with me. And I had a just, like a disconnection of like, wow, the fire is actually in me. And the stuff is only extension of myself. It's like my third hand,
Yeah.
basically. Since then, I was not really training like most of the people. They're like training and then trying to practice and trying to, play in certain way.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like just reconnection, just a remembrance of myself. And even some people are really living for that, like, oh, doing show and this and that. And many people then ask me, and you do performance. When are you performing in this event and this and that? It's like, I'm not performing, bro. I'm just playing. If you feel inspired, you want to play, then you play. If you feel it's kind of performance, then it's your perception
Yeah.
that seeing like, oh, that's a performance for me, and I'm feeling inspired. But I'm not doing this because I want to show off that I can play or how beautiful it is. No, it's just me playing with the fire, and yeah, just being connected with that.
Wow.
You know.
I mean, your connection to nature is extraordinary. Seems like you
Yeah.
spend a lot of time in nature. Now you move to nature, so you live in a nature around you. As being from Indonesia, now living in Bali, what does nature teaches you?
Oh, nature is one of my biggest guidance, I would say. Like, because nature is in us. Again, there's the core elements, and then humans just are trying to replicate actually what is in the nature, right? So that's why I want to always remind people to go back to their roots and core elements, because this is where we are from. Like, we're made of water,
Yeah.
70%, 80%. And we have all the elements what nature has. But the thing is, the system, or I realized when I left my country, the culture there or the system, they are built to actually disconnect you from the nature, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why it was actually a journey for me to reconnect again. And it was a profound for me when I left my country and then realized how the indigenous people or my ancestors actually taught us to be always connect in the nature. Like, before any all the things that human does, like building a business, like
Yeah.
appointment here, meeting this guy or whatever, making money. This all fake. This all actually fake in the way where I say, it's human made,
Yeah. It's all
but
stories we tell ourselves.
yeah, it's a concept,
Yeah.
it's all game, I say, because I just love playing game. I'm a gamer myself,
Yeah.
and I see a whole the world like a game. So when I realized that, the difference between Western culture and Eastern culture, without valuing is what's the best or what is better, it's all has their place, right? Nature is really teaching me to come back, to remember who we actually are, with all the things happen. I will tell you a little bit story. When I was here in Bali, okay, and here in Indonesia it's normal, the earthquake, right?
Yeah.
So the earth is shaking her booty. That's what I say, you know. So because we are so caught in life, in you know having a purpose, like reaching a goal, or making $1 million or whatever it is, right? Building a business, 10 villas or whatever, then we forgot actually that we are a part of the nature as well, right? So one time I had a call. I was like sitting down there, and at some point when I was in the meeting, waiting for the panel, I was in the meeting, and the earth shook like fully. And I was in the one of like big co-working space. Before, it was like everyone was deep into their work, like building social media, whatever, in their laptop and PC, and so focused on their own thing. And then the earth shook, it's like shake the booty, and then like everyone like went out. I was like laughing, like having a peace in me. It's like, oh, hello, it's like the earthquake is actually remembering us. Okay, whatever you do, it doesn't really matter. If I shake you, you're gonna be in fear,
Yeah.
afraid. Where is it coming from? Because they are disconnected,
Yes.
and also it's fear of death. That is like one of the root of fear also. And then one of the girls, she said like, oh, we need to go to the beach, like that's the last
Yeah.
last thing that you want to
Tsunami is
be.
coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you don't know, girl, like, yeah, like you don't want to go to beach, and then like you're gonna be eaten, in another maybe tsunami. I was just like observing. I'm like such an observer. I love to observe humans. They're funny, and also nature. And then I realized all the things that we are doing here, like all the material things that we are trying to achieve. In the end, we all want what? Like peace. We
Yes.
want love. We want connection. We want you know. And all these things doesn't cost anything. All the things doesn't, you don't need to create things or businesses to be able to have this feeling, right?
Yes.
But we are being systemized or conceptualized,
Condition.
conditioned in order to reach that feeling. We need to create that thing, or we need to reach a certain level of status, for example. And that's where I realized, like, how nature actually teach you. There's so many stories I can tell how nature actually just slap your face sometime and like, hey, wake up, like
Yeah.
we are mortal, in the end. Of course there is gonna be reincarnation or whatever you believe in it, but in the end, if mother nature speaks, you will listen.
Yeah. Are you afraid to die?
No, not anymore. I mean, I used to be afraid because, like, that's the fear that is being planted, also condition, right? But the moment you actually really always come back to the nature and observe them, and then reconnecting to them, like, hey, I am actually you, and I'm sorry that I'm exploiting you. But then also there's so many things, right? So like this nature activists, where it's like, oh, we need to save the nature, and like, there's gonna be global warming and this and that. That's also agenda or concept or a game that they created for you to make also another game and money and whatever they want to create. But in the end, like, you just need to turn off your phone or your devices, walk out, go to the greens,
Yeah.
and watch how the plants grows. So yes, so amazing teacher, nature. Yeah.
I was talking to Anna this morning about something, and I want to bring it up with you because you live in Bali and you're Indonesian.
Mm.
In Bali, it's all about ceremonies, so people put offerings all the time. So we're thinking about it. The people seems to be connected with the nature, but
Mm.
because the progress goes so fast that they do not catch up how disconnected they become. So they put those offerings with a bunch of plastic. They put
Yeah.
it on the nature, and then they pray for it.
Yeah.
What essentially they do, they're polluting the earth themselves
Yeah.
by doing something good. By being spiritual, they also are not aware what they're doing.
Yeah. That, I think that's the fine line, I would guess. Like, that's why in Bali, this is one of the biggest reasons why I actually stay here in Bali instead of going back to my tribe Sunda in West Java, because they're all there already brainwashed, I would say. Like, all indigenous people or all the natives, they used to be like the religion was this one. It was not religion. Their belief was animism, right? Like, basically, their god is nature.
Yeah.
Because they see themselves in the nature. Throughout the history, you will see like how, sorry to say, Western culture or colonialism actually destroy the nature or destroy all the ancient wisdoms and ancient practices, because they know how much power each individual can have if they are connected with the nature and their practice and the spirit and all these things interconnected. That's why they want to deconnect, like deconstruct it, everything. They destroy the soil, make the soil, how do you call it, livable anymore. They can basically control the people,
Yes.
you know, for their own goods and greeds. In the end, they want to do it for their own family also. They create their own bubble and whatever. It's also a reminder of my own tribe, how the principle of how they live used to be, and not really anymore. That's why it's one of my biggest value or mission is reclaim back actually this ancient wisdom. One of your values said wisdom, but which wisdom is this? So one of the principle they have is actually trihita karana. It's simply a connection between human and God, human and nature, and human. So if there is imbalance between those, like if they are only in a God and a human, and then they don't see the nature, then it will be imbalance. So it's all in exactly the same way of with the other thing as well, right? So I think why they are doing it is actually also they become so caught up in their own practice and ritual, they didn't realize how actually the transformation or the evolution eating themselves. Like I realized when I left Indonesia, this is like a huge difference of Western culture and Eastern culture. In Western culture, mainly Germany or Europe, I feel they're more about individualism. Like, how can I be someone? How can I have, you know, when if I am a CEO, if I am a this and that, then I'll be seen.
Yes.
So it's all about me, me, me. In here in Indonesia, it's all about us. It's community based. So there is again like duality also, right? Where in Indonesia, most of the people here I observed, and it's actually happening with me as well when I was there. The shadow is actually they cannot stand for themselves. Like they don't know their own worth and value because they define themselves with who they are, who they're coming from, which community they're coming from. That's why they are pride. Some of them, like Eastern culture, they are very proud of their own, identity. I would say they define themselves as that community. In the other hand, basically in the Western culture, then it's like they're so caught up with themselves and they don't have this sense of belonging. Like who am I if I'm sorry, who am I if I don't have all these labels? If you ask people, most of the people like, hey, who are you? And they say,
Yes.
I am Anatoly. I am 28 years old. I am from this is okay. They put all the labels,
Yeah.
right? And then, okay, who are you really?
Yeah.
Is this really you, or is this a story or concept that actually being put in you?
Well, even more interesting when people ask you, what do you do? It's always about the job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, as if anything I do is like, I'm a bartender. I'm like, is that
Yeah,
all that you do?
yeah,
Are you a bartender? Like, is there nothing else you
yeah.
do?
But they don't know anything else. So they just condition of that, and also the group pressure. It's just how our brain works. We want to have this sense of belonging. It's like also our instinct. And our brains are built to be adapted to your environment. If you're not adapted to your environment, like for example when I was in Germany, if I am not really integrated, not even integrated, assimilated, then you're kind of weird. But then you lose your identity again. It's like, okay, so I'm actually like my physical cover is not German, but I can speak German very well, or I understand the culture, but I'm still not a German. Who am I really? That's the thing that I was like having this battle in myself. A lot of my friends like Turkish, for example. So I am a German. I was born here, but I'm not actually German. So they're like confused because they're very focused on physical being instead of other things, right?
Yes. So if we strip Ghazian from all the labels surrounding you, who are you?
I would say I am a human being. I mean, I think I'm not a human being. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
If
so
somebody
sorry.
is not a human being, it's definitely not you.
Yeah. So I am a guy that love joy, that love deep connection, that I love divine growth. I love adventure. And so there is like so many things, right? Physically, in this period of time, for example, I love to dance. I love to experience something that's challenging me, challenging my body, just my natural me. So I am life force being. So I naturally generate life force in me that inspires other people. It is because I am connected with myself without the story or the definition or labels that people think who I am. Even when I come back to Indonesia and my family, some of them still putting me religious practices because just the way it is. I was like, all my family were actually Muslims. And it's like, yeah, don't forget. When I came back, it's like, have you prayed, 5 times a day and this and that. So again, back to the practice and ritual again. Okay, like you were only physically doing the prayer like this or like that, but then the feeling or the spirit is not actually you. And it doesn't feel good at all because you do it because they want you to do it. Even when I was teenager, if I didn't do it, my dad would smack me like with a bamboo, or
Wow.
in the morning like 4:30, because that's the first prayer we need to do. he would spray me with the water so I can wake up to force me into a prayer. So there's a disconnection within what I actually really want and feel.
Yes.
So if you see spirit, can you touch it? No, right? You cannot touch it, you
No.
cannot see it, you cannot hear it somehow, but you feel it. So spirit means something, some force, and tual means push. Some force that push you into something.
Yes.
It's like people can I resonate with that, or I'm feeling connected with that. Then it means spirituality. A lot of people here, or Bule or foreigner that came here. I was also foreigner. Came to Bali. I was like, what is this? They see these practices. Wow, this like Bali is so spiritual.
Yeah.
But if you ask Balinese people, like, what is that? They just don't realize that it's actually just the way they live, which is again very interesting. And then they're being put into that. And if you talk with, especially my age, teenagers, they want to escape from this bubble as well. If you say like Trihita Karana and we need to take care of the nature, why we actually use plastic, for example? But again, it is not good, but it has also a duality, right? So if you ask yourself, is this my story? Instead of like, okay, I'm gonna follow it directly because my parents told me that, because my friends actually doing it also, because if I'm not doing it, oh my god, I'm gonna be discriminated or they're gonna not love me anymore, which is then the basic fear again, fear of losing someone, fear of being um, discriminated, being not in belonging to the group. So that's why we naturally like, okay, I will just do it, otherwise. That's why for me, leaving Indonesia to Germany is like, it was like a whole spiritual journey for me, like remembering what actually matters.
Yeah. I think you raised a really good point. I want to talk about your Germany journey in a second. But the fact that a lot of people pray 5 times a day, the fact that people go and they meditate or do whatever does not mean that they connected to a spirit.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they just do it without even knowing where this comes from, what's the source
Yes.
of it, why is it important. Because somebody who had some intention towards it already gone and
Yeah.
they didn't even pass it to other people.
Yeah.
So you do it because you get bitten by a stick, God forbid, to do it.
Yeah, and then if you ask your parents or your elders like why I need to do it, they cannot really even answer it. It's like just do it, shut up and just do it. You're gonna disobey me. It's like we're gonna get a slap again. Then that's why you're like, just okay, I'm just gonna be a kind boy that is following the rule. That's why a lot of people are feeling like I want to get out, but I cannot because otherwise my parents doesn't love me anymore, and or I owe things to my parents because they were the one that's actually raising me on this and that.
So you're
And
giving away your identity for some fears.
yes, that's
Uh,
the worst thing you can
that's the
do.
worst
That's
thing.
like if you want to live a fulfilled life where you wake up in the morning and it's like, wow, I'm actually living my own game of life. It's not like I'm following the culture and this and that. Yes, I am Indonesian, but for most of Indonesia, I don't look like Indonesian. It's like my style, the way I talk. I had braids most of the time because I just love it. It's connected to me. It's just me being me.
Yeah.
So obviously you got inspired. Oh, that looks cool. That's if you want to have a best guidance in your life, really feels good or not good. That's it.
Yeah.
But most of the people are afraid to follow what feels good. We are built like this is built in our body. Instead of listening only your mind, but really listen to your body, what your body said. And if it's going all in, it's like it's easy actually. But again, you're being conditioned.
Yeah, I think we're so much conditioned, and I talk even to myself working in the office and do a whole bunch of shit, that you stop feeling.
Yeah.
Like you are so disconnected that you can't even feel what's right, what's wrong. You just lose it. You don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing is right or wrong. I'm sort of unhappy, but am I unhappy? I don't know.
Yeah,
Sounds okay.
but where is the feeling come from? That's what I mean. For example, Germany is a land of innovator and thinker. Like all the innovators are from there. So many Beethoven, like so many thinker, like great innovators, right? But then they're disconnected with their feeling because they are so much in their brains, and then they are also caught in their own brains, right? Do you know where the feelings come in, or where do you feel your feeling?
I mean, not exact. I cannot pinpoint where I feel my feelings in the body.
Yeah, Yeah, that's it.
somewhere in the body.
Yeah, somewhere in your
Can be
body. Like
anywhere.
you don't feel in your head, right? If you
Yes.
think, then you feel. That's why a lot of people, like, if they overthink, it's like your processor, wow, it's getting crazy. So you
Yes.
feel it here. You don't feel it actually here. But then when you overthink or you create a story in your mind, it's actually giving a signal into your body, hey, this is your story. That's where the roots is actually from your thoughts. But in the end, if you want to tap into the feeling, you need to be connected with your body. That's why dancing is amazing. Like dancing, before actually words, the concept of words or language was there. The first language we had is movement,
Yes.
dance. Like indigenous people or African people. That's why they're always like, everything that they are doing is always we celebrating with dancing movement. There's war dancing while they are doing in the crowd, and music is banging, and then they are moving their body because intuitively our body is moving into the frequency, right? So I just have a goosebump here
Yep.
because this is how our body reacts to certain energies. That's why when people talk shit about you, it's just triggering you. Say, oh, well, wow, I am actually really not good enough. You have a bad feeling, but it's actually the trigger from outside, and then you think that is the true story, and then from your brain, it's sending actually a certain chemical to your body that feels, oh wow, then I feel sad, you know.
The interesting part is that some CEO from Germany is gonna look at those people in Africa dancing, and he will be like, "Those primitive people, they don't know how to make money. They don't know shit. That's why they're dancing."
Yeah.
And that
But
is the
have you
funniest
look
thing.
yeah, have you look a billionaire that dancing so enjoy and ecstatic?
I
No.
haven't seen
I
any.
haven't
No.
seen any, right? They're just caught up, right? So look at the kids that is dancing like so much joy. Kids is one of the best example also or
Yes.
teacher. Beside nature, is why I came there. When I came there to Germany, I was an au pair. I took care of 4 children, and they are being so crazy conditioned with. But
Yes.
then when the kids was like wanting something because it's just how their body is actually telling them, the parents say, "No, you do this now," you know. So then it is okay. I cannot be happy then.
Yeah.
I had one of client is like, she's feeling bad to feel happy. Can you imagine? She's feeling bad to feel happy.
Yeah.
You
The
know, most
guilt.
of the time when you were a child, when you were a little kid, you're being cheered because you are joyful and happy and stuff, right? But then because the generational aspect, she was like 40, 50 years old. So the parents actually from the war and there was no place to be happy, which is understandable, in that moment. But it's just so conditioned, you cannot be happy, because we are now in a war, for
I, s-
example.
I mean, I spent my childhood in Eastern Europe, and when you smile, people think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Why is this guy smiling on the street? Is he fucking crazy? Is he
Yeah.
nuts? Is he want to steal something?
Exactly. That's a
Stay
moment when
away
I
from
came.
that guy.
I came to the airport with a big backpack. It's like, me as an Indonesian guy. Oh my gosh, like excited. And then one guy is like looking like this. It's Monday. Like what the fuck? Like a friend of mine say, you need to turn them upside down to see their smile.
Yeah,
That's so sad, man.
that's crazy.
That's so sad. Yeah.
But that's all about the environment. If
Yeah.
you would, I think, if even if you would live in that environment for a prolonged amount of time, then the conditioning would come so hard that
Yeah.
you would stop smiling.
Bro, it came to realization when I came to this like cooking school, like being a chef, right? So I was in a 5-star hotel and learn about the chef, and then you go to the school, right? Oh my God, there was a moment where I realized how can you so disrespect? Like in Indonesia, you will be slapped. Some 16 years old guy boy, he's like throwing a chalk into a teacher and stuff, and I'm like, why can you do that? So first 2-3 weeks in the school, I had a friend and still very open to me. And I used to live in East Germany, and East Germany is famous being more conservative. They don't see much foreigners also, so they only see through what their parents told them how foreigners are, especially certain foreigners like Arab, for example, they are terrorists or whatever. So they can only conceptualize in their brain is like, hey, don't touch this guy because he's gonna harm you, you know. And they are very distanced to foreigners, right? And I was always smiling, first 1-2 weeks, and then after 1 year in the school, so it's not like straight 1 year school. It's basically always in and out, right? So you go to the work first, and then you go back to the school to the theory. And he said to me, "Can you remember like the first time you saw her? Like you always positive, you see good in people, you're smiling, and now you are." I used to joke also, you're kartoffelig. Kartoffelig is like potato. You like a potato, like a German, complaining, and then this is not bad, this is bad. And I was like, what, really? That is not me. And he was noticing that. And again, that's what I mean. Like, if you are so much in this world, even in Bali, if you are in Ubud, then you gotta be, all love and this and that, and then you're escaping your reality that you're actually full of shit sometimes. And it's okay that you're full of shit and you have so many trouble in your life and you're broke or whatever. But then they cover it, they call it spiritual bypass,
Yes.
So cover it only with love, and then they don't want to see the shadow also that is actually part of you. But also, again, there's a condition. Who wants to feel uncomfortable feeling? But the society and the concept of words, they are the one that is actually putting bad or good, right or wrong. What is if it's only is?
Yes.
What is the sadness only sadness? Yes, it's uncomfortable feeling. Like if you look at little baby that want to walk, I had a chance or experience Sasha, like my little child for opera kid. I was the one that actually teaching him to walk. So I remember when he wanted to walk, he's actually trying to walk and then he falls down, right? And he knows, maybe he doesn't know, but and he falls down. It's actually painful for her, for a little body, right? But what we do as an adult, like, it's okay, like cheering up and then stand up again. Let's go, come, 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 come. So, and then he's motivated to walk again. Yeah. So this painful moment becomes a pain because we are the one that said, pain, don't do it anymore. Yeah. But can you imagine if you talk that with the baby? It's like, don't do it. You're gonna, it's painful. You will never walk, right?
Yes.
Right? You will never walk in a life. So at certain moment in our childhood life, we as a parent, because our own projection of fear, tell certain moments or things, say, no, don't do that. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna hurt you, and this and that. That's why it's like, yeah, I don't want to. Instead of creating space for a child that is going to just be,
Yeah.
and then be with the feeling and emotions. So yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, we have the mission of what I do, what you do is very similar. We want to wake up people and bring people from the head to the heart.
Yeah.
So for somebody who is listening and they're like, shit, I'm in an environment that definitely not make me motivated to do anything or connected to my feelings, what could they do? What are some modalities you try to get you into the heart?
First, brutally honest. Be brutally honest for yourself, with yourself. Like nature, okay? I'm gonna put it in the nature again. If you know you're a papaya tree, you know that you're not going to grow in Germany, right?
Yes.
You can grow, but it's like going maybe like this much, and it doesn't really give a fruit. It doesn't come out as a papaya, right? Right?
Yes.
So
Well, it's easier.
not-
It's easier for you to know that you're papaya tree because papaya tree grown in Indonesia. But
exactly. So, but I needed to go into another environment to be
Yeah.
able to be honest. Okay, this is not me. So that's why you need to ask yourself, am I actually living the way my nature is? So it's like this. If that's why the core element is amazing. I'm going to go to water instead of papaya. Now I'm going to water. So now water is super beautiful because we are made of water, right? If you buy water in, in warung, like a bottle of water, how much it is?
I have no idea. I need to ask Hannah. She knows the price.
Never bought it?
How much is a bottle of water? 10K.
Okay, 10K.
$1.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Like
$1.
5,000 is actually 5,000.
She
Not
likes the
even
big
$1.
one.
So now buy this water in supermarket. A little bit, maybe more expensive, right? Now you can buy the water in a restaurant. How much it is bottle? 30, 50. It depends how fancy the restaurant is. Now buy it in the airport.
Yeah, it's like $10.
Exactly. So now if the water is the wrong, is the one that put the value or the environment?
The environment.
So changing the environment is one of the best shortcut, I would say, to know yourself, to know what is your core element, to know which plant you are, to know which animal you are. changing the environment. Like if you put a shark, a baby shark in the aquarium, it will not grow maybe,
Yeah.
right? It will be conditioned in piece of aquarium,
Yeah.
right? So another thing, so brutally honest, right? I say changing the environment, brutally change your environment, if it depends also your personality, some personalities like this brutal thing, and the other like it needs to be slowly, take it out maybe a little in a bigger aquarium, and then bigger aquarium, and then ocean,
Yeah.
because then it's just the way our body is actually reacting to things, we want to survive. Oh no, it's too dangerous, and then I will go back, it's like my life is better there, it's settled and secure and this and that. That's why when as a child it's better to already build that, because they are so pure, they can be everything. And as a grown man, or even a grown teenager already, they are like they're still in this confusion, but they have this fear already,
Yes.
so um, another thing, this is my observation again, how Western culture and Eastern culture built. And this is how I realize how actually the modernization and colonization already penetrated my culture, like in West Java. They're lost. They don't know their identity anymore, because the Western people, they cut everything, the connection, the tree of life. You saw Avatar, the movie Avatar?
Yes.
They cut the tree of life and all this stuff, so they don't have connection anymore. They separate things, they separate people, they put some, you know, black sheep, they said. So if you see in the Western concept, most of the people, they are actually focused on what I am going to achieve. Yeah,
Yes.
where to go, what's my goal, what I'm gonna do in 25, what I'm gonna do in 30, and this and that. So focused in where they are going.
Yes.
And then they define themselves, or before they define themselves who they are, because they already reach a certain moment, or they become a doctor or whatever, then they realize, oh, this is what I'm bringing with me. So if I have a scalpel and whatever it is, then I'm a doctor. If I have a set of knife and this and that, so I can be a chef. So then they define who they are after, these two questions. And then they don't even ask until that deep where they are from, the roots, right? So this is how you are from European culture, right? So
I'm from Latvia, but I just don't fit in.
yeah,
I'm a papaya tree in Latvia.
exactly. So now you realize, and you need to go in an environment to be able for you to grow better the way you actually naturally grow, right? So that's why I call divine growth. Not only growth, but divine growth is like how God-like growth, how actually God puts your soul and then choose your body. So now I'm gonna reverse it. Instead of asking yourself where I'm gonna go, what kind of car I wanna have, and this and that, and in the end you're gonna feel like actually still empty.
Yes.
Yeah. Ask yourself where you're from. Like, where are you from right now? Even like go back to the roots. Because then if you know you're actually papaya tree, because your whole family, you just cannot deny it. Your whole family tree line is just that. So where are you from is super important, because if you want to go somewhere, let's say you want to go to mountain, right? So, but then if I ask where I'm from, Rao, okay, I'm from Canggu. So I need to prepare some things, right? I need to go with the bike or whatever. You cannot pack, let's say, a scuba diving.
Canggu is an area in Bali for people who are not in
Exactly.
Bali.
So then you ask yourself, okay, if I want to go to the mountain, then I don't need to bring my scuba diving stuff. If I want to go to diving spot Ahmed, for example, in the eastern part, then you will bring it, right?
Yes.
So first, where are you from? And then you ask yourself, what I'm bringing with me.
Yeah.
If I know where I'm from, which means practically ask yourself, like, how did your parents grow? It's uncomfortable things. Ask yourself how your lineage actually from. Like, what are they really that has all the tools that give you? Like, for example, if whole my family, let's say, carpenter, then if I want to go to be a scuba diver, then I need to new tools, right?
Yes.
So That's why if I ask myself where I'm from, then it's gonna be clear. Ah, okay, I don't have this. I don't have this. But my parents have this quality. That's why a lot of people is actually feeling heavy in their life. Why? Because they are carrying shit that they not belongs to them. You know,
Yeah.
like it belongs to their parents. They belong to their grandparents, and you're supposed to go that way, but it's actually not the way that you want. You want to be a square diver, but you need to go to up. So you go up there and you have 5 kg of something that you actually don't need,
Yeah.
right? Then after that second question, you can see, who am I?
I
And the last
agree.
one is where you're from, where you want to go.
Okay. I agree, but I have a question.
Okay.
If you could compare Latvia, where everything
Mhm.
is grim, I mean, like Germany, so
Mhm.
there's like bad weather, all this kind of shit. Everybody would like to be a papaya tree. Everybody would like to live in Bali and go on a sun and hang out. And, and then it would, for many people, it would change who they are.
Yeah.
They would be more positive, they would smile more.
Yeah.
Even when I moved from Latvia to Canada, how my perception changed. I started smiling more. I was nicer to people just for changing my environment. But there are still people living in Latvia.
But you know, like everybody wants it, and they have this feeling. But like if you buy everybody doing it, so everybody will be in the way. You know what I mean? So that's why, like people like you, all of us that has been awoken or awaken,
Awaken.
and has this profound experience. Okay, I'm actually not living my own life. I'm living the life that my parents wanted. Then to be able to just get out, it needs a huge inspiration. It can be a book, it can be your podcast, it can be an inspiration or a transformative journey. And you go back to the land again, and it's like, wow, this is not what I want. And to be able to have the courage, I say, like, so a lot of people um training their physical, being strong and this and that, but they don't train their muscle, soul muscle. What actually your soul is actually telling you,
How do you train your soul muscle?
listening to your body more instead of the story in your head, the story in your
How
mind.
do you start listening to your body if you haven't listened to your body for your whole life?
First simple things is to be aware and to be brutally honest with yourself,
Okay.
like detach with all the things that you have been doing, for example, and then do completely different things, for example. Then you will realize, oh, actually I need more sun. So if your plan is always be in the shadow, and then you cannot feel what is another thing that's different, right?
Yeah.
Be with the people, or I mean, nowadays there is so many source, like in 20, 30 years ago, it's not easy to reach this information, and where we can see, wow, this is like very inspirational. So if we take a break more, instead of consuming, we're actually just listening. That's why God actually create 2 ears and one mouth,
Yeah.
right? 2 eyes and one mouth, because we need to listen more and observe more than talk.
Good.
Can separate. Okay, it does feel good. Again, this is like the best guidance. It feel good? Like, forget all the things like intuition, or inner wisdom or inner calling and stuff. Does it feel good or not?
Yeah.
And follow all the things that makes you feel good. Or you can write in the paper, one paper maybe with another color or another pen. What are the thing that makes me feel good? What are the thing that makes you feel not good? Or people, especially people, especially
Especially
people.
people.
Yeah. So because then that's the environment that you are
Yeah.
in, right?
Somebody's bringing you down.
Exactly.
They
So
should get the fuck out.
yeah, like they're saying like, hey, you are not papaya tree,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh yeah, I am not actually, and I forget this. So then start following all these things. You will realize maybe like 20% that you are doing every fucking day are the things that you don't like. It doesn't feel good for you. Forget all the spiritual
But I need to make
words.
money.
You
But
know,
I need to take care
you
of my
can make money.
family.
You can make money, but you can create something like it's so many things now. For example, especially right now, you can make money in so many companies, so many corporates, so many other projects that actually align with you. Okay, so now one paper you write down everything that you don't like. You realize maybe it's 80%. And then you do 10% more, right? Just step by step, right?
Yeah.
Every day, step by step. And then you,
Just
let's
dance in the
say,
shower.
yeah, huh?
Just dance in the shower.
Dancing in the shower, for example, and scream out loud in the shower, and that makes you feel good. And you will realize, just test it, make an experiment, 30 days. Take this out. Okay, I don't do this thing anymore. Boom. I do this more. I do this more. You don't know what to do? Get inspired.
Yeah.
Listen more in Soul to Soul podcast. Listen more in a movie. For me, the biggest inspiration was superhero movies.
All right.
I love Marvel film. I love yeah, literally, because my name actually Ghazian means hero.
Well, you are.
So yeah, so it's like, so my mom was here, right? So and she said like, be your name, be your name. She was always like
Beautiful.
that, be your name, because my whole name is Ghazian Kalinga Murnaning. It means a hero that born with pure soul.
Yes.
So you see, I'm already like having this like, oh,
Let's go.
it's already in my purpose, if you want to call a purpose. Again, this is how you also want to know, like, where is your name come from? That's also super interesting. Ask your mom, how does it, like, how do you call me Anatoly? How do you call me Anna? How do you call me Vlad? Where is it coming from? Go dig into the roots. That's why I have this certain, like, attraction into something. So I have attraction to superhero. And there's one time when I was in festival in Germany, it's like walking on the field, it's like, that's my purpose. Like,
I actually just realized my name means man from the east.
man from the east.
Yes.
See,
So
that's
fucking
why you
funny,
have
right?
exactly. That's what I mean. There you go.
That's so.
That's why. That's what I mean. This is where you can find. That's
The
why.
funny thing that I knew that I just didn't connect it until this moment.
Exactly.
So funny.
So that's where you can basically reclaim your power back again. If you realize, oh, that's actually not my story, then listen to your story or learn to your story. There's a African proverb that I love. A man, or not even a man, like human.
We need
Without-
to be inclusive these days.
Yeah, exactly. Human, if you consider as a human.
Whatever you define
Whatever you
yourself
define
as.
yourself, it's audience in the US or what? Guys, I don't give a fuck about
A man.
that. Okay. Human that with an that's bring me like
I
now it's
know.
like out of concept. So a human without knowledge of their past, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots.
Yes. Beautiful.
You learn your past or you're gonna leave your past. That's why my friend, I did a podcast with him, I interviewed him, he's Maori. He said we need to walk back into the future.
Yes.
That's so powerful,
Yes.
because all the concept, the system is actually putting you in a space where you are going to the future. And then all the time you realize, why is it so heavy? Because you don't know your past. Because you are actually living your projection of your past. If you know your past, you can utilize your energy way better. That's what. Learn your past, learn your history, your own history, your generation, your parents, where they grown up, the grandparents, great grandparents, and then in the end you will be connected to this powerful ancestor that has really deep connection. Watch Avatar movie. That's exactly how actually the Western culture destroyed everything. Watch Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. Really, literally. If you see in Wakanda Forever or Black Panther, King T'Challa, the Black Panther, actually drank a plant medicine, and the whole body is shaking, and they buried him, and then he realized the thing that he's envisioning is not right because the ancestors is passing another thing,
Yeah. I watched
And
it.
what-
I love Wakanda Forever.
I know, right?
I'm a fan.
So that's why, and now like vibranium, all this, and now it's African rice everywhere and this and that, right? Because everything get more exposed. Now they lost their identity, the thing that they built so high as a tree. That's what also, if you see, if the connection with the Western and Eastern, like in Western culture, they built the tree so high, more fruits, and then when the big wind comes, it falls,
Yes.
and they don't know who they are. And the other way, in the Eastern culture, you see they're so focused in the roots, they're so down to earth, but they're afraid to rise for themselves. They don't know who they are. They only know because the community told them how they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it's same struggle in the same way, right? So now how we can balance this tree? Some tree doesn't need actually to grow that much. Some tree is like this big but can grow so many already.
Yes.
So if this is the seed that you want to spread in the world, then be it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You talk about plant medicine. What's your relationship with plant medicine?
I think that's again the inspiration of Hollywoods and films and stuff. They're actually already sending you a message. They are actually destroying the planet or the indigenous people the way they show you in the movie. That's the power, like, because we are them. So I used to be pharmacist. So from
You used to be pharmacist
yeah,
and
so
chef.
yeah, so I live.
Like,
I'm actually 176 years old. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the
160-year-old grandma.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So no, before I came to Germany, I was from the 10, 11, 12. I used to go to vocational high school pharmacy, and that was actually the connection to Germany because I know Germany has a really huge pharmacy industry, and it was amazing, and I had a good, like image of Germany. Now I know it's evil.
yeah. All right.
Now I know it's evil,
Hello
but
to our German listeners.
yeah, well,
Thank you
if
for
you if you
tuning
don't
in.
if you
Goodbye.
don't realize, look, my pharmacy teacher she says 70% of people in the world, maybe in Indonesia because she was only in Indonesia, that is actually being sick. It's because they take wrong medicine. It's not a medicine; it's drugs. It's so easy accessible. They make it easy. It's a business. I mean, if you're not sick, how they can make money?
Yeah, you need to be sick.
If you go to the doctor and then they just give you something, like, how this doctor knows what you have without him actually living your body? So now we actually, because we are so comfortable and the system makes us comfortable, especially in Germany, they build a golden cage, you know. I'm so focused in Germany because, hey guys, you need to wake up. I mean, a lot of people already know, like you guys are fucked. Like the system is fucked, and the this structure, this concept is actually being built here. It's been already, like, the colonization has been already.
What do you mean by golden cage for people who don't understand?
So they make actually everything so safe. For example, the kid, they don't have to work actually. Like for me here, if your parents doesn't have money and then they're not working, we don't have money. I was starving before I came to Germany. I was only eating rice and salt. Sometimes I need to fast.
Exactly.
I was walking 5 kilometers to my school. Some of my people in the tribe, they're walking 20 kilometers,
Crazy.
like going crazy ways, and they walk there with amazing infrastructure, and they're being fed from the system, because then this is where they can keep them very comfortable. Even me, I was there until 25 years old. I get they call it kindergeld. It's like money for kid.
Yeah.
So nobody is actually getting hungry there. Everything is insurance. They build a system where the people actually feeling trapped without them knowing that they're actually trapped.
I remember in Bali just about how people here are struggling. I took a Gojek, which is like Uber or whatever car, and I go and I'm like, "Here's the money." He's like, "I don't have change," and I'm like, "Why do you have change?" He's like, "Because you're the only customer for this week. This is the only money I have, and I need to buy gas, and otherwise I will not eat." I'm like, "Okay, here's my money. Take
Yeah,
it."
exactly. So, like, they don't have to struggle there. The kids doesn't have to struggle there. That's why I was there in the college. That's one of the reasons why I came there, because I was there. I don't need to pay for college. Here we need to pay a lot, and I don't know where to. Like, the
Yeah.
money goes somewhere. The education business is also huge. There's another topic we can talk. So
Well, let's say some German guys listening to us who is very fat and happy right now. He's like, "Do I need to struggle? Why would I need to struggle? Don't we build this beautiful country not to struggle again?"
you need to ask yourself what you want in life. What is struggle for you? You know what I mean? So it's like, if you are being fed from the moment you were born here, and then a little bit of struggle is already struggle for you, because some of people like even carrying 5 kg of barbell is already struggle for them, and some of them is not struggle at all because they already manage this struggle. You need to ask yourself, are you living the life that you want to live,
Yeah.
or is it actually the game or the story that your parents, your society, and then you wake up in the morning and it's like, fuck, it's Monday.
Yeah.
You ask the German guy like, wie geht's dir? Like, how are you? Muss. Nothing to complain. I was in the corporate, right? So I was in the 5-star hotel, and then I came to corporate, where 80% of them, they are signed out. Like their soul already signed out. They're only physically there. They are happy, like they are excited for the weekend.
Because they're gonna get drunk. That's how you
Exactly,
sedate
because
yourself
also,
not
yeah,
to feel pain.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean with the struggle also, you know. So they don't need to deal with the things, and they're so tired physically already, so they're just looking for another escape.
Yeah.
So if we can teach them how to escape without escaping, their soul,
Yeah. Let me get back you
it's
on
amazing.
track on my question about plant medicine. Uh, what's your connection?
So yeah, I'm going so far away. Sorry. So my connection, my connection was actually when I came to Bali. Literally, I had a profound experience with mushroom. So this is like a beautiful medicine. It's grow actually from shit
In Bali, everywhere.
everywhere. Exactly, it's everywhere. You don't need to plant things. The cow shit and it grows. You know, so
But you need to wash it first.
yeah, well, it depends. If you like
I mean, if you like,
certain flavors,
yes.
then maybe it's a nice mix. But yeah, again, our people, like the indigenous people, even the theory of evolution, there is a theory, right? So that the
The monkey ate
the
the
monkey ate
mushroom.
the mushroom and becomes like it grows, and you can look at into all the studies. It's literally already scientifically proven that this thing grows your brain capacity and the way the consciousness actually altering, and you can access certain reality that is actually out of your story. That's why they call it psychedelic experience. So it's just guiding me to remember where I am from. So it's like a short. I don't know. I don't want to call it shortcut, because if you are doing it in sake of only escaping your reality, you are gonna be going to
Yeah,
the
don't
rabbit
take
hole.
mushrooms if you just wanna.
No.
It's not like smoking weed or whatever people do, or
Yeah.
drinking some beer.
Yeah. It's
This
really
this will knock you out.
yeah. It will knock you out. So you need to have a proper guidance. Then it will actually bring you into another reality that you are facing the things that you don't want to face. That's how psychedelics brings you into the space. They don't care about your story anymore. It's like, because you are coming from me, I will show you like what is your nature, because I am you, you are me. So now all the fake things that you are building, or the story that you are building, is becoming your reminder. So that was my first connection, actually. And then just being in the nature with people that are in the same frequency and vibe, and then just exchanging their own experience. But then I realized a lot of people also using the psychedelics abusively in Balinese culture, also in the real, like when you go here in the city, you will see they will still using it plastic and this and that. If you go deep in the jungle, there are no plastic. You see in the Budugu,
Yes.
you see in the place where I live, there is no plastic there. They do offering with what the nature has. Most of the people is abusing this substance as a recreational or escaping their reality. And funny enough, the psychedelic spirit, they will gonna guide you to the things that you just want to see first. So you don't want to escape reality, here it's another reality. And
Yeah.
then when you are ready, or if you've done your work, if you're doing your work, then it's like I'm actually connecting with this, because I've done my work. Like, I'm not done, finished, done, you know what I mean? But I was struggling with my own reality in self-discovery 7 years before I even touch them, you know? So if people haven't done any work of self-reflection, self-discovery, healing yourself, reclaim back your power, asking your ancestral trauma and this and that, like if don't touch this plants, I mean, in the end, it's perfectly perfect, like it's always your own journey, it's always your own experience, it's exactly how you're supposed to. If you meet a fake shaman, then it's something that you need to experience also. But in the end, if you want to basically upgrade your soul, psychedelics is one of the best things that I think what I can say it's a shortcut,
What
but
does
it's
upgrade
because
mean?
it's a shortcut. So it's like, so now we have, again, we're coming back to physical, right? So if you upgrade your physical, you go you physical activity, you go to the gym and this and that. But how you upgrade, like you're upgrading basically, you want to become better, like you want to have a better function of your things. You don't do crazy shit that's actually normal people cannot do. I do parkour, for example. Some people, I can jump from 2 meters away, where people is like, no fucking way I can do that. I can do backflip or whatever. So the things that normal people wouldn't imagine can do it. They're upgrading themselves, they practice. And how do you practice your soul? There was also a question. Actually, psychedelics can also do it. Learn about it first. Be with someone that already experienced it. That you feel also connected, they feel true also. Whatever the experience is, like the experience that they want to guide you. Because we are all guide for each other in the end.
Yeah.
In the end, it's really we're guide for each other. We're reflecting each other. So, and then do the work. Like it's not done for one psychedelic session, or ayahuasca ceremony or whatever it is. It's not done like that. It's like you go back to your own things, and then you have all the baggage, and then take all your baggage, and then see what are which craps you have in your backpack, and then just take the things and then see, oh, where is this boomerang coming from? Oh, what, like actually I'm from Australia, and then I have this connection. Oh, that's why. And they used to live like that. Learn about it, go deep. And the plant medicine is actually the one that has been here before you. It was like here for 100,000 years ago. They know better than you. That's why it's like it's a guidance, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, did I
Beautiful.
answer my question, or I was going in
You answered
to
your
another
question, then you
space?
answered my question, you answered all the questions. I'm going to ask you the last question I ask everybody. How to live a happy and fulfilling life according to the Cozy Gozy?
um Follow your own body, like learn about your body. For example, if I sit that long here, I can feel now there is a uncomfortable here, because it's this thing.
Yeah. Need to
So
change the chairs.
the easy is like, yeah, feel good or not good. That's it. Feel good or not good. Follow more good things. Like in this paper, you just hopefully you do it. Follow more that, and I will guarantee you, like if you don't have this feeling, come to me. I will guarantee you the next 7 days, if you do more 5% of what is in that list, you wake up in the morning, wow, wow, satisfying. Be more in the nature, because the nature is you.
Amazing. Thank you for coming, sharing your wisdom. I enjoy talking to you. Should do
Thank you.
another one.
Blessed.
For everybody listening, please subscribe or Ghazi will play fire on you. And it's going to burn a lot.
That's possible.
That's very possible. Talk to you next one. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.